Hey guys, Anthony the Rag Company, and in today's video, we are here at the OG HQ with Mr. Matt Mormon. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, thanks for coming all the way from Boise. That's how we say it, right? You have to carry the S. Is that how we do it?
You sound like a native. It's a perfect.
Okay, this is Lady Lake. You just say it like
Lady Lake.
Yeah, right. Lady Lake, Florida. The village is Florida. It's the largest retirement community in the entire United States.
You don't have to tell us. We just checked into our hotel down the street.
You guys will have a blast there.
We were pulling in, and we start seeing all these golf carts. We're like, all right, there's quite a few golf carts around here. And then we start opening up into what looks like Disneyland for elderly people.
That's exactly it. Disneyland for retirees. It's awesome.
And I was like, this is gonna be a party tonight. So anyways, that's what we're gonna be doing later. But for right now, we are doing a quick shop tour, well, maybe not so quick shop tour, of kind of everything here. Now, normally we'll do these in like a first person view with myself behind the camera, but I want to kind of get my facial expressions as Matt tries to explain certain things.
Bring you over to my side of the organization.
Yeah, and I kind of teeter, right? I'm more on the side of janky, but we're gonna see if he can teeter me over to the side of obsessed. So first and foremost, okay? So we are here. This is the current HQ.
Correct. There's two buildings. One next door is where we do our shipping. This is where all the humans lie, and then my studio. So we shoot all our YouTube videos and stuff here, and then all the humans to do the garage designs and do the technical support and product development, all that is in the other half of this building. Okay. So this is about 1,600 square feet.
In just this right
This
here.
area, and then the rest. The building's 3,200 total, so half of it is the garage and half of it is the humans. And then the building next door is 3,600 square feet, which is ridiculous. I mean, the amount of stuff we ship out of there is insane. But I just bought a new building, so this is gonna be the last tour.
This
will be the last tour anybody ever takes of this place because I'm gonna tear it all apart.
So pretty privileged. I'm glad we're not here for that part because I don't really want to work more than I have to. So this is a good time to be here. Now, the place that you're going to be moving into, do you know what your kind of showroom, your garage space is going to be?
Yeah, so the garage is going to be 28 feet deep, so about the same depth as this, and 90 feet long. It's gonna be sick. This here is 30 by 40 roughly and change. There's, there the wall kind of sticks out. That's how I get to the 1,600 square feet. Yeah. So it's gonna be, we're gonna do some crazy stuff. So all the stuff I learned in here, we're gonna level up there.
Okay, all right.
It's gonna be awesome. So you'll have to come back and do a tour of that when I get that done.
We're trying to pencil in like a next year trip potentially. We're gonna see what happens. So hopefully maybe there'll be some progress.
So imagine you're me. I've got two little baby buildings that I'm leasing, and I bought the Dream, which is almost 30,000 square feet down the street. So go from 6,000 square feet to 30. It's gonna be wild.
It's like going from your first house to your dream house, right? Something kind of like that.
It's like going from a Hyundai to a GT3. It's wild.
There's nothing wrong with Hyundai, Matt. Hyundai is doing incredible things, right? That inline, the inline?
No.
He's not down. Janky side of things.
Okay, I'm in it for it.
So we are here inside the HQ. So what we want to talk about, flooring.
Yep. Swiss tracks. Yep. I'm a big Swiss tracks fan. I actually discovered this when I did a bad epoxy job, what I thought was a good epoxy job, and I needed to cover it up with something. We covered it up, and then the beauty of it is that we drive in from the road, you don't see any dirt, you don't see any dust, it stays clean all the time. The most common question is, where's the dirt go? The answer is it goes underneath it, and then I just vacuum it whenever I feel like it, like once a year.
Okay, what version of Swiss Tracks is this?
This is Rib Trax Pro. So this is the curved version. They're 15 3/4 by 15 3/4, 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay. And so you could dump a wheelbarrow full of dirt on top of this and it would disappear. And then just vacuum it up whenever you feel like.
So this is probably, is it more comfortable? Have you walked in this barefoot?
No, it's not.
Okay, not comfortable.
But I'm not walking around barefoot.
Okay.
The thing I love about it is clean.
Okay.
It's modular. I'm gonna pop this up and take it with me when I leave here. And I think it looks pretty sweet.
I like it.
This is slate gray and black. Those are the colors that I generally do.
I like this. What do we have at PRC?
You have Swiss Track.
I know, but which ones do we have? Flat? Oh, I like this more.
Yeah, Rib Track Smooth is the flat version. The dirt tends to park on the smooth, flat part, where because it's ribbed and circular, everything falls underneath it.
I think this looks cleaner too. I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so flooring, Swiss Tracks.
Yeah, lighting, Cree. This is
Creed? C-R-E-E-D?
C-R-E-E.
Cree. Okay,
Not your favorite band from the 90s, but
I'll throw it out with Creed. I started appreciating Creed more once I became a parent. Like, it just started hitting different. I go, ugh.
Stay on track.
Okay, sorry.
Best lights ever. This is what we're gonna put at the TRC headquarters at some point. So these are called Cree LS fixtures.
Why are they good?
Well, they're a true, if you look at all different spectrums or all the R values, R1 through R12, and you average it out, it's a true 90 plus CRI fixture. Right now they're at about 30% dim, so they're at 70% brightness. I always like to have headroom with light, so that way when I am detailing something, if I wanted to crank it up, I could. Or if I'm filming something, oftentimes we crank up the light. So if I go to full bright, we have more light than we need. But the magic of this type of high quality light, one, the color is accurate on anything I look at. Secondly, it's not as fatiguing even at this. You're at about 130-foot candles right here at floor level, which is...
Why do you know that?
Well, we have a meter and I tested it. So that's how we come up with this stuff.
I would never test that. I would never do that. But this is great information because the nerds back at TRC, right, who want to know everything about this, you've given us all the information. Now I want to know for filming, is it good for filming?
Yeah, because you have color accurate. You know, these are about as color accurate of an LED as we can get, unless you go to like waveform, Dane knows about, you know, some of the really high-end stuff. Okay. Unless you go to some like individual $10,000 like Aria light fixture or something like that, this is as good as you get. Okay. And they're not that much more. An 8-foot section is about $350. Whereas like a normal, decent high bay fixture, like the OG fixtures I sold for years, are like $180. So it's a couple $100 more, but it's something you buy and have forever. I'm gonna take these down and take them with me to the next building.
So 20 by 30 garage, just a rough estimate. 20
Probably
by 30
$2,500.
Into lighting.
Yeah, and then you'd need control, so $3 grand-ish to do a normal, decent, you know, 2-car garage.
Okay, and it would be bright.
Beautiful, yeah.
Right.
And not obnoxious.
Okay. Okay, all right, so I like
pre-lighting, Lutron control. You see that little box up there, little white box? That little white box, or there's one up there a little easier to see. That PAL pack communicates to a wireless switch. So there's no box here, there's no hole here, we just stuck it to the wall. And so these wireless switches have 10-year batteries, and then I can control, I did 3 zones of lighting here. So oftentimes I'll turn off a couple and just live in, you know, the center bay or maybe the front bay, depending on what I'm doing. And then I programmed it so the 3 middle buttons give me I like it at 70%, and this is a nice comfortable light.
Okay. Ceiling color and wall color.
I don't care about ceiling color. This is already this color. Lots of people like black ceilings. I prefer white ceiling, but this was already black when I bought the building.
Do you know how many people painted their ceilings black because of you?
No, it's because of Kyle.
Oh, because of Kyle? Okay, all right. Yeah. I was going to say.
We do a lot of black ceiling garages. It does kind of make the ceiling disappear. Yeah. I prefer white. You'll see my garage at my house. But the wall colors almost always do Harbor Gray. It's now called Silver Chain. It's a Benjamin Moore color. It's the color code is AC25. And AC-25, the reason I know that is many people ask. Sure. And always flat.
Always flat. Okay, so
always flat paint.
No eggshell or anything like that.
Never. Always flat, semi-gloss, or maybe a satin on the trim, but always flat. Because flat you can touch up. A sheen you can't. If you do, you'll see the brush marks, so you have to roll out the whole wall.
Okay. All right, so easy to touch up. Okay, that makes sense. I did not know that, right? So that's
and a lot of people argue, you know, no, well, I need to wash my walls. You don't wash your walls, you touch them up. I don't wash my walls. First of all, I don't touch my walls, but if I did, I'm gonna touch it up.
Okay, so we have wall color. You have 2 garage doors in here. Do you ever use them?
Just the one.
Just the one.
The other one stays down.
This one stays down.
That's a product called Reflectix. I bought it from Menards. It's the only place I can really find it. So it's just a metal door, and I was getting all kinds of heat. You know, as soon as the sun beats on that door, it's basically like radiant barrier you'd put in your attic, on your roof, and super easy. I did it myself. The next doors I'm hoping to do, look up Rytec, R-Y-T-E-C, and look up the Drivers Club video on the Obsessed Garage channel, and you see a door that goes up in you've seen them at dealerships where they go up in 3 seconds. That's what I'm hoping to get at the next building.
There's a Honda dealership.
Rytec, if you're watching this, hit me up. You really need to give me a couple of garage doors because I'm gonna change the world with those suckers. They're amazing.
The Honda dealership I go to, it has those, and it's bam, it's just right up, and I go, oh, that's sweet.
Saves all the air conditioning, and that's what we need.
Okay, so before we get into the tools, the storage, and all of that, I kind of want to cover a couple of the other big ones that people mostly want to know about. air conditioning. You have to have air conditioning here in Florida.
Yeah, you really do, and supplemental dehumidification. So I have a main, like a regular air conditioner through the duct. We found that it wasn't enough to balance the building, and so I added a mini split. And then I found it was still too humid, and so through that vent there, that's the return. There's actually 2 supplemental dehumidifiers that sucks, I think, 100 pints of water a day out of this place. So that way I can keep it around 45% humidity, so I'm not sweating when I'm doing stuff.
Important, right? So we have dry temps in Idaho, so humidity is never an issue.
You need to humidify at some point.
We need to, no, seriously, your nose will dry out. So like we don't really see a whole lot of mini splits in garages, nor do we'll see heaters, right, in the wintertime, right? It makes a big difference, but mini splits in the summertime will probably still make a massive difference in just keeping the area workable.
Comfort. What I used to do was I would just close the garage door, insulate it with the stuff from Home Depot, and then open up my door and put like a little fan, so it would kind of use the AC from the house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you start out doing, and then eventually a mini split like that is somewhere around $5,000 installed usually, and so I like the Mitsubishi's, Daikin's, Carrier makes them. Usually a pretty simple install, but it can really, you'll see I have one at my house. I keep the temperature at my garage at my house at 72 degrees, 73 degrees all year round. So I'll heat it in the winter, which we don't have to do much of, and I'll cool it in the summer, and keep it cool. The only byproduct to air conditioning your garage that a lot of people don't think about, in the summer when I back this out, it's the opposite of what you're used to with your car being all fogged up or all iced over. When the car's 72 degrees and it's 95 outside, imagine what happens. The car just, you can't see out the windows. Everything fogs up. That is a disadvantage to air conditioning your garage, but I think it's worth it.
Okay, I think so too. So talk about a couple of the big things now. So we've kind of talked about that. The lift here obviously is very important, right?
Yeah, this is a Nussbaum Jumbo 7. Cool thing about this will go up to 78 inches. Common misconceptions, you can't do work on a scissor lift. You can do basically everything except for like classic car brake lines, because I can drop a drive shaft, a transmission, an engine, and the beauty of a scissor lift for detailing is that now I have full access to the car, all 180 degrees of it. We have the extension ramps as well, and I'm 6'2". Even with it recessed in the floor, I can walk without having to duck underneath the car, because it goes up much higher than you would think.
So this goes up quite a bit nicer than ours that do at work, right? And it's not that ours at work are bad.
Yours is a mid-rise, right?
Is it a mid-rise or is it a scissor lift?
I think we did a twin bush mid-rise in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is smooth. This is nice. This is really nice.
Nussbaum, this is the Porsche of lifts.
Okay. So note to everybody back at TRC, right?
Yeah, and so
you'd
always have a little block, right? A little block here. Okay. And then Mike, if you watch the OG channel, everybody knows Mike F. Mike F cut the floor, which we're gonna have to fill in when I move out of here, and recessed it perfectly so it makes a massive difference. So we don't have our floors cut, right? So we have to drive up onto the lift, right? Which, if you have a lowered car, makes a big difference because now the car settles and then you have nowhere to put the blocks. So with Nussbaum, we developed a ramp system. So like if I was putting this on the floor, like in the Helen house, I have the mid-rise and then we have approach ramps that are bolted to the floor. So imagine there was a little 2.5-inch approach ramp, so that way you're not sitting on the frame rail. Yep. But this makes detailing, it's ruined me. Like to imagine trying to do it in a driveway or in a regular garage, I just can't do it ever again. Because if I wanted to polish the rocker or the lower, little side skirt or something, and this is a little too high, you can move it to whatever the heck you want. It just makes it so much more enjoyable.
Fender well cleaning, brake caliper, suspension.
Yeah, swapping wheels, tires, anything you want.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly nice. And look at it, smooth.
Well, it goes down quite a bit quicker when there's, 4,000 pounds
weight on it, right? Yeah, some weight on it. So, okay, so, because for this, do you need air?
This one does not need air.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was going to use that as my segue into the air thing next.
Sorry.
So, It doesn't need air, but talking about air, compressed air, you guys obviously have
So I
air
have
lines.
Prevost lines run. Prevost is a French manufacturer that makes aluminum piping. You can see the blue piping that we've run throughout. I like it exposed. It just looks really clean, really well done. It's easier to service if it's out and exposed. I have two Cox reels here that are OG design. These are actually the very first version I made. When I was working on different hoses, I found that the stock Cox hose reel spring was too lean, like it wouldn't retract the hose properly. But the cool thing about these have something called Easy Coil, and so when I go to retract, it's under control. So the spring is designed so that if I were to let go of, right, it doesn't whip. These are my power cord reels as well with the Pro Locks. Of course, you guys have seen these.
So how do you do that? So you just wrap it around that, and then it just plugs into the side?
Correct. So there's a like a little transfer device in there that allows it to. There's like a plate that makes the conductivity.
Okay.
And then these are Easy Coil as well. And of course, these have the Pro Locks. So if I were to plug something in like this is really good for detailing.
Doesn't come off.
It doesn't come off.
Especially with polishers and all that getting caught on tires and stuff.
And then the compressed air system is powered by a 5-horse silent piston compressor. So that big white shroud over the normal piston system, or the 2-stage piston engine. It would be a motor and an engine. It all operates at around 60 or 65 decibels, so it's pretty quiet.
What's the output of it?
About 30 CFM. So it'll do 150 PSI, 30 CFM. Not enough to do dry ice cleaning.
But air tools, yes.
Any air tool you could imagine, it's gonna run any. No, the only thing I really run is pneumatic Rupus polish.
So dry ice cleaning, right? Because I obviously see one of the dry ice machines over there. What is the recommended for that?
Well, you want at least 80 CFM, close to 185 PSI.
Who has that?
Well, you have to go to a 3-phase. You have to have a 3-phase power. So you have to have 440 volt. You have to have a rotary screw compressor. And what we recommend, we actually are designing systems, turnkey systems. I sell a lot of them because we're the authorized distributor for ICS in the country. You need a 40 horse. We're developing a 60 horse as well. 60 horse, 3-phase will deliver 220 PSI at 175 CFM, some ridiculous amount of delivered air. For some of the 410S machine that we sell, if you really want to do full restorative, like paint removal type work. Yeah. For undercarriages, engine rebuilding, stuff like that.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so we covered floors, we covered ceilings, covered walls, we've covered air, lift. Let's just cover the other big things. So obviously, Sonic cabinets.
I love Sonic, yep.
Everywhere.
Sonic, there's an example of Lista Toolbox, Rousseau. I believe the best cabinets in the world are made by a company called Rousseau. So that burgundy looking toolbox, the best cabinet on the planet.
Okay, so
they're made in Montreal, made in Canada, up in Pan's neck of the woods, right?
Okay, so I ask a hard question. Okay, so a cabinet's main purpose is to store tools, right? Sure. And I've talked to some mechanics, right, who use Snap-on, who use other brands and whatnot, and they say this is their investment because they spend this much because this is their livelihood, right? This is everything that they do to make their money on a day in, day out. They want things that roll easy and all of that. So why would somebody, maybe like a weekend warrior, somebody want to spend the money? Is it because it's a lifetime thing? Is it because of the experience? Is it because the brand?
It's a difficult thing to quantify. If you're making, $100 grand, you're successful, you got a good life. This cabinet array is $23,000. It's just not happening. Yeah. I get it. When I was making 100 grand, it wasn't happening. Yeah. I don't even know if it would happen if I didn't do this for a living, right? Yeah. And so it's not practical. That's why New Age is so popular. New Age is, sold at Costco and Sam's Club and stuff like that, because you could do an array this big for $7,500. And so, but the quality difference is pretty apparent when you go even this versus Rousseau. The reason why I think you want a cabinet array, it ties in the garage, it ties everything together, and then you can do things like this and make what the flip. Somebody's
Next drawer.
got my tools out and I'm gonna kill somebody.
There we go. So next drawer. No, I mean, this is exceptionally organized, right? So I mean, I like this. My toolbox doesn't look like this necessarily, but I do have all my wrenches in one drawer, which is awesome.
Another system, so this is, you have to buy their tools to get their, to get their foam inlays. Another system you could do is this, like tool grid system, where you can grid out whatever tools you want.
I do like this. This is nice.
You can do things, or if you have some like random items that aren't part of a kit, you can kind of clean it up and organize it and make it look pretty. And so having that level of organization helps me put it back in the same spot. That when the drawer closes, things don't flop around. I'm a sucker for tools. I like tools. I don't like using tools. It's like I like detailing, but I don't actually like the detailing part. I love the result of detailing.
The idea and the results, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
we all love the result. That's why we do it. That at the end you get to walk with the back of your hand down the fender. That's my favorite thing to do in the world.
I don't touch my cars after I'm done detailing.
I do.
So I might be a little bit more obsessed in that case. But what I do like about having tools and having a lot of tools, because I have quite a bit of tools I don't use all the time, is I like when I'm working on something or I'm doing like a job and I'm stuck in this situation where I go, oh no. I hate that feeling of not having the right thing.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, for me to get the right thing, I have to either order online or I have to find a weird shop that's gonna happen to have this thing. So being prepared is nice, especially when you're working on your own stuff. But also, I just like.
And when you're young, you start to acquire. So every one of those offhanded projects you're doing and you don't have the right tool, you order it and then you start to amass a hodgepodge of tools.
Yeah.
What I specialize in is, now I'm 44 years old and I've had some level of success in life, and so I actually gave away all of my original hodgepodge of Craftsman and Pittsburgh and Harbor Freight and a little bit of stuff here and there, and then bought a sonic tool set. Now I'm at the point to where, you'll get a kick out of this, where now I'm looking at German, Japanese, looking for the best tools. I actually bought basically entire Snap-on catalog. And so like these screwdrivers here from a company called Vera out of Germany. I just ordered the entire Koken catalog, and I haven't organized these yet. I just got these in the last couple of weeks. But the progression was hodgepodge, Sonic, nice. Those foam inlays are really cool. Now I want Sonic makes nice screwdrivers. These are the best screwdrivers. Sonic makes okay ratchets. I think these are the best ratchets. Now, this is my claim to fame here. I bought every single one.
Yeah.
I don't want every single one.
That's awesome.
That, by the way, that is what made the cut. So that's 68 screwdrivers. It was 517 was what I started with, and I narrowed it down to 68. I think I need to get it down to about 35.
What'd you do? You sit like crisscross applesauce for like 2 hours and just go through every tool, or what?
Well, I bought everything in the catalog, the whole entire catalog, and then I laid it all out on my 22-foot cabinet at my house, and I just sorted.
But how do you know which ones you're gonna end up with? Like, how do you know which ones,
I don't.
So you just pick the ones you like? Because this right here, I don't know, this looks quite a bit like this one right here, kind of, I don't know. So you just kind of went with
This is what I'm born to do, Anthony.
Okay, I guess so. I do like this. This is satisfying.
The reason why this is one of the best toolboxes, or the best in the world, I'm 220 pounds, no deflection at all.
I'm not doing that.
This drawer holds 440 pounds. Even if I do Lista, so Lista is the American made, they've kind of lost their way a bit. See the deflection?
Yeah.
This is the second best. If I did that with the Sonic, it's
Jimmy,
now.
Look at me, Jimmy. This is satisfying. I don't know if I'm gonna do that if I ever get one of these things, but I mean, it is satisfying knowing that you could do that. You could stand on here, essentially.
This is from Hazette.
Jeez.
So part of my process, this is where the crazy comes in, the obsession is, I love catalogs. So in my Sonic MSS Plus desk, I have a bunch of catalogs.
Yeah.
And then I love shopping the catalog and then circling things that I might want. And usually by the end, I've circled like 90% of the stuff.
You're still straight up using paper catalogs. And
I cross-reference with the online, site as well. But I like the catalog because it allows me to, like for example, I'm in this one right now. This is Knipex, and so here's where I'm at in Knipex. And so what I'll do is I'll go through and circle things that I might want. you know, and then from there, then I'll go online and cross-reference the website, and I'll create a spreadsheet, and then I'll go to them and then I'll order it. So here was the Wera catalog, so I ordered pretty much everything out of Wera, and then I ended up with that.
So thank God that people, because genuinely, I wonder if people still use catalogs, like actually,
And this is
right?
Koken.
Goes to show.
But this is all I use the catalog for, just for this step.
Referencing and stuff and just picking things out?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because this is the way for me to find their complete set.
So here's another, it's an interesting thing I want to know. So if I'm ever gonna spend, what's one of those screwdrivers cost?
Like 18 bucks.
Oh, that's actually
They're not that bad.
Okay,
yeah.
so if I'm gonna spend $100 on tools, $200 on tools, $300, more than that, right?
Yeah.
Chances are I'm probably gonna wanna look at a review or check out somebody that's reviewed these things before. Now I wanna know, because this stuff is so niche, has anybody reviewed this stuff? Other than you, realistically?
Yeah, there's tons of reviews on it. What you're getting with me is that because I'm not a mechanic, there's not a mechanic in the world that's gone through that catalog. Like this Koken catalog, to order that stuff in there, I probably spent 75 hours. It goes with me everywhere I go. Carry it everywhere with it. And by the way, it's like eating ice cream to me. It's my favorite thing to do. And so
it's not like eating ice cream. Like
no,
at all.
It's amazing. It's my favorite thing to do. And then build a spreadsheet, add it up. All right, how much is that? And then call the company and say, I want all this. And then they always try to talk me out of it. Okay. No. I think we'll narrow it down for you. I said, you don't know what you're doing. Let me do it. And so then I order it all and touch it, feel it, organize it, reorganize it, organize it again, and then I make a complete set. And that's a different place. So you have the mechanic, you have the engineer that made it. I'm kind of in the middle of the guy that has to decide what should we have in our cabinet. Because the mechanics think they should be, but what mechanics don't realize is they're the ones that are marketed to. So I'm the marketer. By the way, this is my favorite cabinet system out of all. This is Sonic MSS Plus. Fit, finish, visually.
Visually, I like this probably the most. And this is you turn into a desk.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is my office, if you will. Every time I have an office, I always have to give it to somebody. So in the new building, I'm going to have an office, and no one's getting it. So my office in that 90-foot garage is going to be right in the middle. I'm going to have glass looking at both sides. One is the dry ice and washing studio. The other is going to be the studio like this. It's going to be cool.
Okay. All right. So the next thing. Because I want to save some of the questions for when we get to your actual livable.
So much for our 20-minute garage tour. This is going to be 3 hours.
Longer than that. I know, but the guys back home are probably loving this. So, all right. So
you're missing the most important part.
It's important. Who would even have this?
There's no business purpose to this other than life's dream. And I got a random mountain bike here. Let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, Dane, can you take this mountain bike right here? Oh, he's got his hands full.
So this is, what you have a discount tire. Hunter Road Force. Makes absolutely no sense to have it because I would have to buy like 1,000, 2,000 sets of wheels to ever make it worth your while, but I cannot explain to you how amazing it is. I got these wheels, these are for the Evo. The tires probably aren't gonna fit. They're probably a little too big.
P65?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
And it's gonna be close. And so they probably won't fit, and we're having to go back to the place, palm the guy a hundo, please don't mess up my wheels. They always do. Yeah. We all have lived that. So now I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, so you feel comfortable and confident in doing this yourself, 100%.
It's so easy, yeah. I can't do it as quickly as a guy who does it all day, every day, but it's really, really easy. It took me about 4 sets of wheels to learn, how to do it. Okay. And now I got it down. I can do I did these in probably like an hour.
Okay.
Without scratching, without messing anything up. I can take my time and really do it.
This is the first grease brush. Right? It's a grease brush, right? I've never seen with rocks on it.
What do you mean?
You ever notice? A Discount Tire. If you go to Discount Tire, right?
Oh.
Everything is collected pebbles and rocks, right? Because they use it on the same thing.
I wash mine on after every use.
Well, that's nice, right?
Or before every use.
There you go. That's like half the reason why to do this yourself, right?
There's got to be a better brush. I got to start doing some research to find a better brush. Like I've looked for the best TPMS tools and try to find the best weights. You'll like these weights. I'll show you in here. So these are, I discovered these, Tesla's use these, but this is a weight system from 3M that is pliable, easier to take off.
I do like that, yeah.
Looks better.
It doesn't, it's gray, so it's kind of neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found a way I'm gonna get rich and famous is I'm gonna make a new brush, a new grease brush. That'll be my idea, right? It'll be perfect. So I think we've covered pretty much everything here. Last big thing, because Dane's pointing to it, and I don't think you have these at your house, is the Lev Rack.
Correct, I do not, yeah. What I always end up with is this. This came off the Evo. I did end up with the Busher, by the way. The Busher exhaust. This was the Fujitsubo and the MA Performance high flow cat. And what I needed was something to keep, you know, I've got an extra set of wheels. I've always got some product I'm working on. And so the Lev Rack gives me the ability to store more stuff and have more, you know, things off the floor, you know, because I'm always working on stuff, always doing a project. And then I actually bought these Rogo systems so that I could have, you know, have all the different fasteners like body clips and stuff like that available. I use this all the darn time.
Oh yeah, because that's everything, pop clips and everything,
like
right?
Merca sent me a bunch of things to try out, and I throw it in here, and I've got, you know, some of this Steelman stuff for figuring out like plugs if you got a hole in your tire.
So this is just like random bits, tidbits and stuff.
It is random as I get.
Okay, all right.
And then I have like my Milwaukee Master Collection, which we have at Adam LZ's house right now. But like this was where I keep like all my Milwaukee tools in here, nice and organized. All of these different, you know, bins and stuff where I have everything set up with drill bits and. And so the Lev Rack system, think about this. I had those closets. I had 4 of them next to each other. And so those are a foot shorter. So these are a foot taller. And then I have, what do I have, 5, 6? So I went from 4 to 6 of the same size. Mm-hmm. And I gained another roughly, you know, whatever it is, a foot by 3 feet. So another 3, 6, 9, 3 times 6, so 18 square feet of storage. And then of course, all the upper level stuff as well. So I took what was a footprint, and by the way, this cost, I think $3,000 less than the closets cost. So it's pretty reasonably priced. Like I think this whole array was like $6,000 or $7,000. Where the cabinets were $2,000 a piece.
I thought it'd be way worse than that. And I didn't know that, I truly didn't know it was built on this whole kind of frame thing.
Yeah, it's just pallet racking. It's the same thing that you guys have in your warehouse. You know, it's pallet racking that they've made much nicer.
What is this? This is over 2 feet, right? It's 2.
This is 30 inches.
30 inches.
So 30 inches is as narrow as it gets. And then they do 36, 42, 48. So if you had the space to do imagine what a 48 could hold.
Oh,
they make it in 7 feet. Yeah. This is the 8-foot version. And then you can choose to do the add-on to go all the way up to 12 feet.
I like this.
It's really cool.
It's helpful. Yeah. Okay.
And there's all kinds of other, like, I don't have them, but you can do, you know, the storage wall where you can do like the little bins. They have drawers. They have you can hang clothes in them and stuff like that. So they have all kinds of accessories that come with them as well. We sell tons of these. It's awesome. So vacuum system, Anthony, this is something I hate interiors.
Yeah, well.
So this helps me not hate it so much because I can pull this out in 2 seconds. I don't have to roll out my shop vac, take the power cord off. Installing this is really quite simple. You know, pretty simple install. It's a simple bracket, a couple of screws for your system. We've worked out a system that's the best of what exists. We had this custom made by Modern Day. It has extra packing because it operates at 56 decibels. Most of the sound comes out of there.
It's powerful.
Now it's not a wet dry, it's dry only. It's a bag version. But things like we had to get a 2-inch hose because when we did the 1 3/4, it whistled. You know, and trying to suss out and figure those things out. Our next plan is we're hoping to work with Detail Factory to help us make the world's first really great vacuum accessories. But then when I'm done, all I have to do is just wind it up in 2 seconds. This to me is worth every penny because then I don't have to roll out my darn shop vac like I've got my Flex vacuum over there, undo the hose, undo the power cord, go plug it in, and then I don't know why I hate that so much because I'll do that with a lot of things and take extra effort, but something about vacuuming I just hate doing.
I get it. I mean, I don't like vacuum. We vacuum a ton of filthy cars at TRC for videos. And we have that vacuum that we trail behind us, right? We don't have enough length on us. Sometimes we have to yank it, and then it comes running at us, and it's just a whole process.
50-foot hose.
Nice.
Wait till you see the version I have at my house, where I have this in the attic, and I have the Haida hose, which sucks it up into the wall. And so there's many different versions. We sell these in packages like we do the custom installed pressure washing.
Okay. Pressure washer or chemical storage we should talk about.
Yeah, I'm still working on the darn press-all bottles. Someday I'm gonna get them to work right. They certainly look good.
They look really good.
The latest iteration, I shouldn't be showing anybody this, but this is coming where we finally fixed the tips with a $3 stainless tip, which is nuts, but it certainly—
Actually, it looks really nice.
Yeah. Next step is we're having the bottles fluorinated, so that way the labels will stick better. Yep. And then the last part, we're in testing of, we all know BrakeBuster nukes everything. And so putting BrakeBuster through this and if I can get BrakeBuster to work, then any chemical will work forever. But so these are from a company called Press-All that I found several years ago, and I've been working with them. These are the new squeeze bottles that are coming, so I had to make a matching squeezable LDPE bottle so that it can match.
I'd like that.
Last step is to have gallons that match.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so each one of these products are from different companies. And the plan, and you can even see how sometimes the label doesn't stick. So this is what I do, is try to figure it out.
Are you thinking on a gallon that it'll have dimension to it?
Some sort of, yeah, similar, but it needs to be stackable, like the Kush Chemi stuff, or they can stack it up. It needs to be stackable, but I want to have some similar design or style to it. Our TRC stuff is here.
I like this. Hey, that's what I like to see.
So I like to have, this is a Matt Moorman recommendation, and somebody's probably messed it up on me because some of my employees use this, but there needs to be 20 of each towel. I like to have 20. So I call the Matt Moorman Master Collection has, I believe it's 9 towels or 10 towels. And then I have a specific purpose for each. This is for drying. When I'm drying the car, I have one of the twist loop in my right hand, one of, we call it the small drying towel in my left hand. This is for tires, wheels and tires. This is for cleaning countertops, multi-purpose use beater towel. This is for windows, interior, low pow polish removal, high pow polish removal, depending on the paint. Sometimes the low pow towel works better than a high pow. Bulk drying. These are my rip and rag rejects, right? The ones that I pulled off the rip and rag first. Those are my pluffles for waterless washing. Yep. And then this, I normally do pearls. And so I have a pearl in one hand and I have a creature in the other for coating removal. So a high pow, low pow, that's how my towels are set up. And see, this is what happens when I let people use my stuff. You think that's an acceptable way for things to go in a cabinet? Absolutely not.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, oh my gosh.
Abso-freaking-lutely not.
Don't let them come to TRC and open our cabinets.
Somebody's gonna get murdered. Like, look at this. My brush is just sitting here like this. It goes like this. God dang it, people. These are my employees. These are my people. Ruining everything.
These are people that follow in your footsteps in all walks of life, or trying to follow in your footsteps in all walks of life.
And they're failing miserably. They're all fired. Everybody's fired. I'm gonna be all on my own by myself. Look at this. You can never have that. It's gotta be like this. Put it in the freaking cabinet the right way. That took me 2 seconds. Unbelievable.
Amazing. Amazing.
This is all.
Yeah. We'll worry about that. We don't want you to get too fired up. Okay, so last but not least here, we have the pressure washer.
Yeah. So this system here is the 20 millimeter pump. So this is a 30 amp, it's 23 amps, but it needs a 30 amp circuit. This one does stock, it's 3,300 PSI. So this is a big honkin'
This is not the little blue 1700.
Correct, I have those at my house. And so what we do is then we tune this via the orifice. And so then I use the nozzle and open up the nozzle. And so we tune it to about 1,000 PSI, and it does about 3.3 gallons a minute. So heavy flow, not a ton of pressure, and makes the washing experience a bit more enjoyable. I'll show you when we go to my house. I actually prefer the system I have at my house, which is 2 small pumps, 2 12 millimeter pumps put together in series, or I guess they're technically in parallel. And so we get actually more output than we do from this. But this is called the KWS 700 from Krensla. Many copies. You can even see this is the new active an active pressure washer that it's kind of built off of that idea. This is a Chinese made, it'll produce 2.2, 2.3 gallons a minute. It's gonna be $500-600, something like that. But if you want the Porsche, this is the GT2 RS, right? This is the 918. You know, this is the big boy.
Fancy. Okay.
I don't sell a lot of these. I don't recommend a lot of them. But the setup is I have hose reel on the wall. These are our new DI system that I'm testing. So we'll talk about that in a few months. I'm building my own Obsessed Garage DI system. It's going to look like Sonic cabinets. It's going to be pretty sweet. Bucket filler. OG spec wand and gun. We have the Perfect Detail USA OG collab for holding our foam cannons, the OG PP plug to keep from dribbles. And so when I'm ready to wash, I generally wash outside. Sometimes I'll wash in here. There's no drains in here though, so I prefer to wash outside.
Cool. All right, so I think we've highlighted this area enough. So whether this is going to be an additional video or we're going to move right on to the next garage, I have no idea. But I said, hey, about 10 minutes, so right, I don't know.
We're 50 minutes in.
41.
That's one of the shortest videos I've ever made.
That's one of the shortest videos ever made. So we may wrap this up here and then we may move over to the garage, but regardless, as always, thanks for watching. And if you guys enjoy seeing the detailing content, maybe just enjoy seeing Matt here on the channel, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rack Company.